I'm with Don Spencer. Welcome to our show, Don.
Thank you, Randy. I'm glad to be here.
Many of you may know this, and some of you may not know this, but Don is running for Clerk of Court. I'm sure that you've seen his ads on our websites and his signs around town. But I thought this would be a great chance for Don to tell us a little bit about himself and his background.
Thank you, Randy. I was born and raised in Santa Rosa County. My family ties go back way deep. My family's been involved in the community for years. Spencer Field in the north end of the county that Whiting Field uses for his helicopters is named after my grandfather. He sold that land to the military in World War II. And he's in the sawmill business with a man by the name of Burgess Pace down in Florida town. That old sawmill burned, but the city of Pace up in the north end of the county is named after my grandfather. I grew up down here on this beach. We used to ride dune buggies on the sand dunes before they outlawed that. We used to go mullet fishing out here in the bay when we had a gill net that we could pull out there before they outlawed that. We watched the filming of Jaws 2 out here on the beach. And my father was the first manager of Navarre Beach in the early 60s. So my family involvement in the community has been, goes back 100 years. And I've always enjoyed growing up down here on the beach. I can remember when they had lots for sale at the end of 87 and 98 for $99 down and $99 a month.
Yeah, I wish the prices was like that today, but unfortunately they're not. That's quite interesting because a lot of people are transient that, move down here, and most of them move down here in retirement, and you find less and less people that's lived here all of their entire life. So it's kind of refreshing to meet somebody who has such a long family history in this area.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's a pride that I have for this county and for the community. There's a lot more to Santa Rosa County than Milton, and the South End needs to get some exposure, and people need to know how this South End is starting to grow.
Now, you're running for the office of Clerk of Court. Can you explain to everybody what the Clerk of Court actually does?
Yes, sir. There's three main responsibilities that the clerk does. One of them is the clerk is in charge of the minutes, the fines, and the fees for the court fines. They collect the public defender fees. They work in the courtroom with the judges, and they record all the transactions in the minutes from the court hearings. The clerk is also the comptroller of the county's money. Is responsible for the fiscal soundness of the county, writes the checks for our county commissioners. And the clerk is the official record keeper, keeps track of your titles, mortgages, deeds, marriage licenses, and issues the passports for people in Santa Rosa County.
Well, that's pretty interesting. Now, what have you done before running for Clerk of Court? I'm sure that you have a daytime job, or you do something else.
For 24 years, I worked for the Department of Financial Services with the state of Florida. For 19 years, I supervised the Bureau of Investigations office over in Pensacola. We investigated bail bondsmen, title agents, insurance agents, adjusters, banks, automobile dealerships, tracking where the money's going. After 24 years, the department's philosophy of mine had changed. They had grown from consumer-oriented over to industry-oriented. I felt that the consumer had no representation anymore, so I resigned when I was 52 years old, and I went to the Law Enforcement Academy. It was a career change. I was the oldest guy in the class. I had a ball in it. I presently work for the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office at the courthouse with court security, and I've been there for almost 4 years.
Wow. So you really are qualified to be Clerk of Court.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, can you let everybody know when the election is?
The election is going to be August 14th. It's going to be the primary where most of your constitutional officers will be elected on that day. They won't be on the November ballot. And it's very important that everyone gets out to vote on that day.
All right. We'll do our best to remind everybody to get out there a few days before August 14th and remind everybody how important it is to vote and that their vote really does count.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But let me tell you a little bit about what I'd like to do if you elect me as your next Clerk of Court. The clerk is the comptroller of the county's money. As comptroller, the clerk writes the checks for our county commissioners. When the county commissioners buy fences for the ballpark, sound system for the county commissioner meeting rooms, buy property for the county through the industrial park, the clerk's the one that writes that check. We can't see where the county's money's going. I'm going to post those checks on my webpage. By posting them on my webpage, we'll have open and transparent government, which will create accountability. You will be able to sit in the comfort of your own home and see where our county's money is going. You'll be able to call the county commissioner's office up and say, hey, can I see the bids on this $160,000 contract? They'll have the bids. You'll be able to study them, start building our trust back with our local government. There was a $230,000 no-bid computer software contract that came out of the clerk's office. This is exactly what I'm trying to do away with. We don't know if that was the best deal for the county or not when there's no bids on it. That's almost $250,000 that was spent with nobody having a chance in our local government to even bid on it. There's 111 employees to 113 employees in the clerk's office. They have 3 chief deputy clerks making almost $95,000 apiece. Now, when I was with the state, we had division directors over hundreds of people. That didn't make that kind of money. The sheriff has an undersheriff that's over more than 300 people that doesn't make that kind of money. Our county cannot sustain this kind of growth. I don't have any problems with these employees, but 2 of them are fixing to retire. And through normal retirement and attrition, I'm not going to fill those positions. We're going to delegate those duties down to existing managers. And by doing that, we'll do more with less like everybody else is having to do. And our present clerk has served the clerk's office for over 50 years with over 18 years as a present clerk. Our present clerk retired with a $403,000 golden parachute. I'd like to ask you as the audience, how do you feel about an elected official that has retired with $403,000 golden parachute, continues working as the clerk, drawing their salary plus $88,000 a year in retirement, and be invested for a second retirement for the same elected position? I believe an elected official is there to serve the people. You have an option to take that golden parachute when it's offered to you. I believe you, as an elected official, you should pass it up. The people that pay our taxes don't have this option with their retirements. Most of them are losing their retirements because of the way the economy is in. And I appreciate that if y'all would vote for me on August 14th, and we can get the status quo changed in the clerk of the court's office.
Well, you have my vote, Don.
I appreciate it, Randy.
Thank you very much for taking the time to be on our show, explain what the job is, and also explain to everybody what your goals are if elected.
I appreciate it, and that's exactly what I want to do. I have a lot of pride in this county. I think we ought to take it by the bull by the horns and rein in the spending. Everybody else is having to cut back on their budgets. The county needs to do it too.
Okay, remember, August 14th, Donnie Spencer, Clerk of Court. Thanks a lot, Don.
Thank you.